Okay class, so in this particular lesson we're gonna cover third exercise for an inheritance concept. Okay, so in this particular exercise what we're gonna build is we're gonna build an application that will contain two classes. One will be the base class. As you can see over here we have a diagram, we have a class diagram for point 2 dimension class, and we have a class diagram for point 3 dimension. So this particular class will be inherited from this base class point 2d. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna create two fields, x and y, for 2 dimensions. Okay, x will be an integer, y will be an integer, default value will be 0, and both of these fields will be private. As you can see over here we have a minus signs which basically define that these two fields will be private. Okay, and in the next part we have all the functions which will be available within this particular class. In this particular class we're going to have a constructor, a default constructor, and we're going to have the second constructor which will be parameterized. Okay, we're going to have a function which will get the value of x, which will return an integer value. We're going to have the function which basically set the value of for x. Okay, a setter method for x. The return value will be void and it will set the value of x for any integer value. And then we're going to have a function for getter y value, second dimension y, and the setter method for y value. Okay, and we're going to also basically override this method, which is predefined method in Java, that is toString. Okay, it will basically return the data in a string. So we're going to override this default method, and we're going to return the parameters which are x and y for 2 dimension point. Okay, and then we're going to build the next class which basically is related for 3 dimension. So it will contain a specific parameter that is z. Okay, because you know that there are 3 parameters in 3 dimension, x, y and z. Okay, so x and y will be inherited from this class and z will be specific to this particular class. Okay, so you can see this arrow is pointing to the first class, which is point 2d. It means that it is inheriting all the methods, all the public methods, and all the values which are available, all the properties which are available within this base class. Okay, so this particular class will contain a unique parameter that will be z. The data type will be integer and it will contain a default value equal to 0, and also it will have two constructors. One is default constructor and second one will be parameterized constructor. Okay, and it will also contain the getter value for z and the setter method for z, and also again it will basically override the predefined method toString that will return 3 dimensions in a string format, x, y and z. So let's start building this particular application. So we're going to open the IntelliJ. So I'm going to go to the file, new project, select Java, next, create project from template, next. I'm going to name this as inheritance exercise 3. I'm going to click finish. I'm going to choose this window. Now you can see we have this project created. Now the first thing is to create this particular base class, point 2 dimension. Okay, so I'm going to create this base class by right clicking on the package folder, new Java class. I'm going to say point 2d. Okay, and then inside this structure of the class I'm going to make all the relevant properties. First of all, we're gonna make two fields variable, okay, that will be private and both are integer. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make these private integer x and y for 2 dimension of a point, okay. And then we're gonna make a constructor. In this particular example, we're gonna make two constructor. One will be a default constructor that contains no parameters, okay. And what this constructor will do, it will basically initialize both of these fields to the default value, that is 0, okay. You can see that. So what we are doing is we are basically assigning this x parameter, this x field equal to 0, this y field equal to 0. So if this constructor called while creating an object, so what will happen is that both of these fields will contain the value 0 if we don't provide any parameter while creating an object, okay. So I am gonna access this dot x will be equal to 0, this dot y will be equal to 0, okay. So now we have this constructor completed. Now we're gonna build one more constructor which will be parameterized. So definitely it should contain parameter. So we're gonna provide these two parameters and we're gonna assign x equal to x, this dot y equal to y, okay. So now you can see we have these two constructor. One is default constructor, second is parameterized constructor. So now we're gonna make a getter and setter method, right. So if we like to basically set the value after creating an object, so that we can use this setter method, that's why we are creating this setter method functions, okay. I know that we have created the constructor, but what if we call this constructor, right? If we call this constructor, then there would be default value 0. So how can I basically then set the value? So we have to basically also create setter method, so then we can set the value later on if we create an object by using this constructor, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create public integer getter method which will return the value of x, and then in the same way we're gonna make public void setter method to set the value of x, okay. So this will set the value of x to the specified value by the parameter, okay. In the same way I'm gonna make the function which will return the value of y. So it basically will return the value of y, okay. And then we're gonna make the function which will set the value of y. So in this case it will set the value of y to the parameter which will be provided while calling this function, okay. So after this we're gonna override the default method which is available in Java, that is toString method, okay. So what we want to basically print out the output the form of 2 dimensions in this way, x and y, okay. So we want the output in this particular form, right. So how we can accomplish this? We can accomplish this by the help of overriding the predefined method that basically output the string message or string statement to the console, okay. So in this case what we are doing is we are overriding this toString method and we are returning what we are returning? We are returning the value of x within a bracket, comma, and the value of y, and then we are closing the bracket, okay. So now we're gonna come inside here, and if I right click and choose generate. Then over here we have this toString method. You can see that we can generate this toString method, okay, and you can see that it is basically selecting both of the fields, and that was our intention, to basically generate both of these fields value, right? So we're gonna select both of these fields and click OK. Now you can see that it is returning point2d curly braces and curly braces close, but we don't want in this way, right? We don't want to return in this particular form. We want to return the data in this form, x comma y, like this. We want to return the data in this form, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete this. Let me select this whole statement. I'm gonna delete this, and then I'm gonna return inside the string. I'm gonna include a bracket, then I'm gonna concatenate this with the value of x, then I'm gonna concatenate this with comma, and after that I'm gonna again concatenate it with value of y, then I'm gonna concatenate in the end with closing bracket. Okay, so in this way we're gonna get the output in this particular form. Alright, so it contains the value of x, it contains bracket, comma, value of y, and then we have this closing bracket. So now after this we have this base class now completed. Now we're gonna move to making this class, which is child class point 3 dimension. Okay, so now I'm gonna make one more class, new Java class. I'm gonna say point 3d. Okay, and in this class I'm gonna extend from the base class, which is point 2d, right? So then all of the properties which are contained within this class will be now inherited in this class also. Okay, so inside this class point 3d, what we're gonna do is we're gonna follow that particular diagram which I demonstrated to you. We're gonna make again the specific parameter which is available within 3 dimension, that is z, along with x, y. Z is the third dimension in 3 dimension point, right? So we're gonna make this, right, and after this we're gonna make the constructor again, two constructor. One will be default constructor public point 2d, and this constructor will basically initialize the z parameter equal to 0. But as you can see that it is giving us an error because it says that invalid method declaration return type required. So it is considering, okay, sorry, it's my mistake, because the class name is point 3d. Okay, now we also will call the base class constructor, because what happen is that if we create an object by using this constructor, so what would happen is that is basically it will not contain the value for x and y if we didn't initialize it. Okay, if we didn't initialize the default constructor of this class. So how we can do that? So now I will basically call the super method that will basically call the base class constructor in order to initialize the x and y parameter also. Alright, so after this we're gonna make the second constructor which will initialize the parameterized values x, y and z. Okay, so I'm gonna say public point 3d, and it will contain the value for x, the value for y, the value for z, and in the constructor I'm gonna just call the super function, and I'm gonna pass the x and y parameter that will initialize the super class constructor in this case, that is point 2d, and it will initialize both x and y values to the values which is being provided by these parameters, and the z value will be initialized by providing this reference, this dot z will be equal to the z. Okay, so now we have both of the constructors available. One is default constructor, second is parameterized constructor, right? So what we can do is we can basically again make some getters and setter methods to return the value for z. So I'm going to say public integer get z, alright, that will return the value for z, and we're going to have one more function public void set value for z, and that would set the value for z to the specified parameter. So this dot z will be equal to z. Alright, now after this we're gonna have a function again to basically override the default function, that is toString, and we want to return the statement in the form x, y and z. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna right click over here and we're gonna say generate, and we're gonna generate the toString method. Okay, I'm gonna select this parameter and I'm gonna click OK. Now after this I'm gonna delete this statement, I'm gonna return the statement in the bracket, and I'm gonna concatenate it with this dot in this particular example we're gonna have to basically call the super class method to return the value for x. So I'm gonna say get x. Alright, after this I'm gonna include a comma, then I'm gonna say get y value. After this again I'm gonna include a comma, and then I'm gonna use get z. Alright, and then we're gonna concatenate in the very end with the bracket. Okay, so in this way we're gonna have an output by this function in the form of x comma y comma z. Alright, so that's basically is for this particular class point3d. Now we're gonna move to the main class. Inside the main function we're gonna call we're gonna create some objects. Okay, so then we can generate some output. Alright, so first of all I'm gonna make an object of point2d class, right? So I'm gonna say point2d, alright, and I'm gonna say point2da, p2a first object is equal to new, and then the first example I'm gonna call the constructor point2d, and then which constructor? Parameterized one. So I'm gonna pass the value of x for 1, the value of y for 2. Okay, and after this what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna print the statement. Alright, I'm gonna use the print line function, and what this print line function will do, it will basically print whatever is available within this toString function. Okay, so that's it, basically the behavior of this particular function is when we call this print line statement, so whatever is available within this override method, now it will be executed. Okay, because we have override the default functionality of this particular function toString. So when we basically use this function system.out.println, it points to this function which is predefined, and that prints whatever we typed inside the brackets. But in this case we have override the default functionality of this function, so it will return whatever is being implemented inside this particular class, which is point2d. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this object which is created p2a to print out the value for x and y. So if I execute this application at this point, so you will notice that we're gonna have the value for x and y printed. You can see we have the 1 and 2. Okay, so what we can do is we can also do something like this inside this class. We're gonna say that this is x equal to, okay, and we're gonna say this y equal to. So then we can understand that which value belongs to x and which value belongs to y. Alright, So if I again execute this, you can see we have this x is equal to 1, y is equal to 2. Alright, moving on, now we're gonna make one more object again by using point 2D class, and in this particular example we're gonna call the default constructor. Okay, so what would happen now is the value which will contain within the x and y, that will be 0, because you know that we have initialized the default constructor to basically initialize the value of x and y equal to 0, right? Here you can see that. Alright, so now we are calling this constructor. In the first example, while creating an object, we called which constructor? We called this one, parameterized constructor, because over here we have passed the values, but in this example we didn't pass any value, you can see. So now which constructor will be called? Default constructor will be called. Alright, so now I'm gonna set the value for x and y. Why? Because it contains the default value. So at this point, if I print out the information of p to b object, so what do you think would be the output? Again it would be 0 and 0, x will be 0 and y will be also 0, because we have called the default constructor. Now if I execute this, you can see that we are getting that x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0. But what if I set the value by using this object? If I set the value of x to, let's suppose, 4, if I set the value of y to equal to 3, so you will notice now if I execute this, x become 4 and y will become 3, you can see that. Alright, so that's why we have made the setter method. So then if user create an object by using the default constructor, so that we can set the value later on. Alright, but we can also call these methods for this particular object also. Alright, so what if I do this, p2a dot set value for x, and I change its value to, let's suppose, 4. So now what would happen is that it would contain x equal to 4 and y equal to 2. Let's see if I execute this, you can see that we have this value changed to 4. Alright, so we can use these methods if we like to change the value after creating an object. Alright, so now moving on, now we're gonna basically create and construct the object by using point 3D class. Alright, so now I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna create point 3D is p3d. Alright, p3a is equal to new point 3D, and I'm gonna pass the value for x to 1, the value for y to 2, the value for z to 3, let's suppose. And now if I do this SOUT and I'm gonna print the value for p3a, so what do you think would be the output? It will basically point to which function? ToString function, which is available in point 3D class right here, and you can see that we're gonna get the output in this form, x, y and z, because we have override its default functionality to return the output in this way, right? So let's see if I execute this, you will notice that I will get the value in the form x1, y2, z3. So I will also change over here, I'm gonna say x equal to, and then y equal to, and then we're gonna have a z equal to. Okay, save it. Again if I execute this, you will notice that we're gonna have these values over here, x equal to 1, y equal to 2 and z is equal to 3. Alright, so just like this, we're gonna also create the object, second object, by using the default constructor of this class, which is the constructor without any parameters. Alright, so now if I again print this information p3b, okay, so what do you think would be the output? It will be 0, 0 and 0, because we have called the constructor but we didn't set the value, right? So now if I execute this, you will notice that we're gonna have x equal to 0, y equal to 0, z equal to 0. So now we can set the value for the dimension by calling the set x function, okay, set y function for the p3b object, okay, and we're gonna have the set z function for p3b object. So now if I again execute this, you can see we're gonna have the output in the form x equal to 15, y is equal to 14, and z is equal to 13. Alright, so that's about it for this particular exercise. I hope that you understand this exercise much better. It is again related to the concept of inheritance, and very important point which I like to discuss with all of you is that I basically did a mistake while demonstrating the second exercise. Alright, so in this example, in this figure, I demonstrated that it is related to multiple inheritance, but it is not related to multiple inheritance in my example, right? The example which I demonstrated you, I didn't cover multiple inheritance in this exercise. I cover hierarchical inheritance, right? Because in multiple inheritance, what happened is that you use something which is known as interfaces, okay? By the help of interfaces, you can accomplish multiple inheritance in Java. So that was my mistake. I mistakenly typed the word multiple over here. So that's basically I would like to inform you. So that's about it for this particular lesson. Thank you very much for watching.